Hi, welcome to Romance Happy Hour. I'm Dylann Crush, and I'm here with my co-hostess, Dawn Luedecke, who is feeling a little under the weather this week.
I am, yes. My boys decided to share, but the wrong thing. So,
They shared their germs with you, huh?
they did, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all nice.
So the viewers didn't see last week where I was like texting you during the show or before or after the show saying, I think I have somebody puking upstairs.
Yes.
And yeah, I had to run real fast because there was puking and now it's me. So it's a full circle.
It's so nice when families can share all those wonderful things between them, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Sharing is not caring.
No, not in this case. We lost you, Em.
Oh,
God. Okay, I'm back.
There you go.
And then it did weird things.
We've been having a few little technical difficulties tonight, but we're not going to let that get in our way. We're going to keep going. So welcome tonight. We have got S.E. Rose and M. Guida with us, and they're going to read from a couple of their latest books. So we're super excited to have you with us. Dawn, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been up to this week? Get everybody caught up on your life beyond the illness.
Yeah. I am writing my Lexa Jade book, and so hopefully it's coming out in April. The April release, we'll see. So
soon.
Yeah, I think I can get it done this week, and then my agents have been getting revisions back to me again after this week, so I'm doing that. But other than that, my kids are back in school, so I'm totally partying.
Yeah, I can tell.
In my pajamas.
That's why your voice is so hoarse. It's not because you're sick. It's because you've been partying.
I've been partying in my pajamas. See? Wake me when I'm famous. I wore that because I was sick and I want to be famous. So, yeah.
Well, I hope everybody's back on their feet again soon.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I was going to say, Linda says we're stopping and starting. I don't know if that's happening for everybody. If you're having trouble seeing us, let us know in the comments. Everything looks good on my end. What have I been doing? I have a book release next week. So I've been working on that. Getting Lucky in Love releases on March 5th. And what else have I been doing? Uh-oh, somebody have their volume on?
I muted myself.
Getting feedback. We'll keep going. We keep going. I shipped out February. Finally, we had a delay, a little shipping delay with the February t-shirt. So those went out this week. I've got mine on. I know you can't see it. I've got my just one more chapter t-shirt on. So that was fun. And I'm getting all the stuff in for our March Romance Happy Hour boxes.
Yeah, I'm excited about those. That looks so good.
Too. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Rockstar Romance coming up. So yeah. And I didn't even tell you this yet, but I got to spend over an hour on the phone yesterday with someone at a Tennessee whiskey distillery because I'm doing research.
Hey,
series.
Cool.
Yeah, and she's sending me alcohol.
That's cooler.
That is way cool.
I want me to be able to try it. And I'm like, I'll just go get it. She's like, I don't think you can get it in Minnesota. So I'm like, well, okay, I guess you better. Yeah, no. So I was not expecting that. I was just super grateful to get the information. So I'll have to let you know. I'll have to use it for one of our upcoming drink recipes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So. All right. So I want to turn it over and see what SE has going on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and let us know what you write and what you're working on and all that good stuff.
Sure. So I'm SE Rose, Sarah. Obviously, I wasn't named SE at birth. Let's see. I just had a book come out. So, and I think this is my giveaway book. So, signed paperback, US, Awkwardly Perfect. So it's number 4 in a rom-com series, and number 5 comes out April 22nd. So,
super cute cover. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, they're all, I think I have them all sitting here. They're all really adorable and just, lighthearted, quick reads, fun stuff. Yes, here they are. They're all fun. If you like your rainbow colored, covers. Oh, if I can find my camera. So those are those. And I have my Christy K. Bromberg Driven World book that comes out next week. I have released next week too. Endeavor. So that's a romantic suspense. So I guess I should introduce myself. So I live in Maryland. I live north of DC. I write romantic suspense and rom-com, a little bit of contemporary. I think this book coming out is book 20, I think. I stopped counting. 20-ish. 20. I think it's 20.
Awesome. You need to keep track because that's a huge deal.
I know. I need to count them. Well, I have how many I've written. So I think I've written 21, but on this, I think this is 20. Which is, I guess I should know that. That is a big deal, right?
It's a big deal. I know. I forget to celebrate some of those milestones. It's like, oh, yeah, I have another book release. It's like, what are you doing to celebrate? That's a big deal. So, I mean, I do it too.
I mean, I'll celebrate. Of course, I celebrate them all. I'll get champagne. It's important. But yeah, so that's next week. And yeah, I just had we have a charity anthology I have out right now. Love is in the Air. And I have a cute little short story in that. And otherwise, yeah, I'm just keeping, I day job. So this isn't my full-time job. So I environmental law on the day and add this at night. And I've been publishing since 2018, three years ago next month. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell when I'm not being a mom.
Yeah, that's the real full-time job, right?
It is the full-time job that they're off to, both of them will be in college next year. And I feel like that it just doesn't end. Like I thought like, oh, no, it doesn't.
So you're twins or just?
They are 2 years apart. My daughter's back home from college because of everything. So she is doing college from home right now, which she is super excited about. So hopefully she gets to go back in the fall. And my son is a senior, so he will hopefully be off wherever he's decided to go in the fall as well.
Well, be an empty nester.
I know. I'm really like, go off. Live your life.
Well, we're glad to have you with us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And how about you, Em? You want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you write?
Sure. I'm Guida, but that's not my real name is Em. I go by, that's what I write under, but my real name is Mary. And I write Academy romance. And this is my first book that I'm going to be reading about. And the fourth one comes out tomorrow, which is Legacy Academy Year 4. And right now you can get this one, the first one, it's free right now. And yeah, it's free right now. And it will go off on Saturday. It goes back to full price. But, if you like what you hear on this, you can get it free for the first one. I also write under another pen name, which is ML Guida. And that's more my sci-fi and my paranormal. And then I'm going to be really crazy and I'm going to be doing a third pen name that's going to be coming out soon. And that's going to be Mary Rush and that's going to be Reapers, but they're going to be shorts. So, and I live in Nevada, Colorado. I have been writing since 2013. But the books that I've been real successful with have been the Academy. And I love writing in that genre. It's like my new thing. I love Academy romance. So
it's a big genre right now. So
yes.
will you do us a favor, and after we finish our live, will you put a link to your free book?
Sure.
In the comments or on the page so that
I can do that right now.
It easily. That would be great because I know they're going to ask about that and want to know where to get it. So very cool. So Dawn, I got to ask before we get started hearing from readers, what are you drinking tonight if you're sick?
I'm still drinking wine. I gotta go to sleep somehow.
I was just checking. I wasn't sure if that was going to, affect your intake at all, or,
I co-host Romance Happy Hour.
You've got a reputation to maintain, right?
I do, yeah.
The real question, is it red or white?
It's rosé.
Oh.
So in the middle.
Well, I thought of you because I was at Costco this week and look at this super cute cup I got. It changed colors. So it was pink, and then when you put something cold in it, it turns purple. And it came with another one that was it's white, and then when you put something cold in it, it turns pink. But that one's because I already used that one all day. This one's got my grapefruit vodka.
Okay, so now I'm gonna have to go to Costco because my daughter would love that.
Well, and they were on sale because they were on clearance because it was after Valentine's Day. So you got to check it out. We're big on cups here and any kind of
And I
had
love
my,
yours.
Wine in my wine glass with snowflakes because it snowed in Colorado.
Colorado has been wacky lately. I mean, you guys had like 65 degrees last week, right?
Oh, that's Denver though. We do that all the time. It can be really cold, and then the next day it can be really warm, and then it snows. You know, it's Denver.
We had a heat wave roll through here this week because it was actually, I think, 27 today.
That was your heat wave?
To the dentist. And last week, I think one day when I woke up, it was minus 20. I mean, it was crazy. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't miss that. I moved south because of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get, I guess, not so much. My husband grew up in the DC area. And so I always thought that, you know, you see pictures of the White House with snow and, you know, like the mall with snow. And it's like, yeah, it really doesn't stick around that long.
So Essie, so you say you moved south, but you live in Maryland. That's pretty far up there still, though. Still,
so I lived up by Lake Erie before, so it's a little. We used to get the real like the lake effect snow belt.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yep. Lake effect snow is no joke. I went to school in northern Indiana, and it is no joke.
Then you know, yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, should we get to some reading?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna let Essie go first, and starting off, you got to show us the book cover. You got to tell us all the details. Everybody's gonna want to know.
I'm splitting my time because I do dark and I do light, and I couldn't make up my mind because that's how I'm. So I'm gonna do 2 tonight. I'm going to do a short one because this is one of my favorite characters, romantic suspense, A Fierce Princess. It's a duet, and there's a 3rd book. And then another book will wrap up that series, that world, in October. And then this book it's the precursor, the prequel book. My rom-com series I just showed you is a spin-off of this. But it has my favorite scene I think I ever wrote in here. So
is that what you're reading us? Your favorite scene you ever wrote?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh
yeah. Good. I have my best friend who it was inspired by.
Life inspiration.
Shenanigans. He provides me with much fodder. The Decoy, another rom-com I have out, is inspired by an entire destination wedding trip we took. So
it's good to have friends that provide fodder for your.
It's important to have those friends. All right, so I'll start.
Yep, we're gonna leave it to you. We'll come back when you're done.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll start with The Fierce Princess. So I'm going to start us a little in chapter 2. I find myself in the vault as I meander the palace, contemplating my future. The vault is 2 stories below the ground. 2 of our guards are stationed here 24 hours a day. The security to get inside requires a verbal passcode, face recognition, and a thumbprint. Once inside, the door slides shut behind me as the LED lights illuminate the room. Our family's crown jewels are displayed in sets beyond bulletproof glass that only moves once I provide another set of verbal passcodes, facial recognition, and a thumbprint. So sensitive is the system that I have to utter the passcode while completely relaxed. If the system senses a change in my voice indicating stress, it will not open. I take in a deep breath and unlock the cabinet holding the remaining pieces of my mother's favorite set. There is a space for her crown. It sits empty, mocking me. I'm startled when the door opens. A moment later, Augie is beside me. Jesus, you scared me to death, I say, and then realize how ridiculous that is. No one but our family and security could get in here. He wraps an arm around my shoulder as we stand side by side, staring at the negative space that once housed our mother's crown. Really, it's more of a tiara, but nonetheless, it was her favorite one. She always wore it for special occasions, and including the gala she had been attending the night of her car accident. It's still one of our country's greatest mysteries. Some reported it that she was wearing it when she got in the car to leave, or she hadn't been reported in when she got in the car to leave. Others claim she had it on at the accident scene. However, all that can be said for sure is that it went missing that night and has never been located. At first, her missing crown bothered me because I was almost 7 and fixated on trivial things. But around the age of 13, I became completely obsessed with locating it. I don't know why. I don't know what finding it will possibly fix in my broken heart. I just know that I have to find it, and I won't rest until I do. And so I use my love of computers as an excuse, a conduit of sorts, to look for the crown, a crown that is worth at least $50 million on the black market, a crown that many wealthy criminals would kill to get into their collections. It's akin to having Amelia Earhart's playing in your living room. Stop thinking about it, Augie says, breaking my thoughts. I shrug. I'll always think about it, I admit. She's gone. It's gone. Move on, he says. I look up at my brother. Augie has father's dark hair, as do I, but he also has my father's dark eyes, where Chris and I have our mother's piercing blue ones. The only thing I don't have is height. My mother wasn't tall, but she wasn't short. My father and brothers are all over 6 feet, but not me. I'm barely 5'3" on a good day. I look like a fairy that never grew up. I'm a stick with small curves, small everything. The only thing I surmise from it so far is that I blend into crowds. I can throw on a hoodie and some leggings and sneak out of the palace. No one notices me. There are pluses to not being the heir or the spare. I can't, I finally reply. Try, he says, giving me a shoulder squeeze. Finding it won't bring her back. I know that, I say. Then let it go, he says. I know Augie suspects that I'm looking for it, but I would never let on that his guess is correct. I have a little over 5 months, I say to him. What? He asks, stepping back to look at me. I have almost 6 months to do what I want, and then Dad expects me to take on my duties, I say dryly. Well, beats having to do it now, he says. Augie had a brief stint in the military after graduating from university. He works with some Wounded Warrior projects, but he's also an assistant to my father's military advisor. Basically, Augie gets paid to play. He plays with military aircraft and vehicles and talks to veterans and reports back. And in between all of that, he plays video games with his ex-military friends. He did see some action while he was in the military, but he doesn't talk about it. He's 7 years older than me. Chris is a whole decade older than me. I was a surprise, but a welcome one, as my dad always says. Why did you come in here, I ask Augie. Looking for you, he says. Why, I ask. I need a co-pilot, he says with a smirk. I roll my eyes because co-pilot is Augie speak for accomplice. For, I prod. Care to get out of here tonight, he asks. I laugh. You know there are about 100 cameras and microphones in here, right? I ask. He shrugs. Yeah, but no one actually checks them, he says with a laugh. He has me on that. I broke into them once and they hadn't been viewed in 2 months. Fine, I mutter. Well, damn, don't be so enthusiastic. You'd think I'd ask you to help me bury a dead body, he says. I raise an eyebrow. I just need a normal night, I swear, he says, throwing his hands up in the air. Normal, I say. Normal-ish, he adds. Well then, my brother dear, please tell me all about this normalish night we are about to have, I say as I link arms with him after closing the cabinet. We walk back to Augie's apartment in the west wing of the palace to plan our escape after dinner. By the time we are summoned for food, we have our escape route planned, a club picked out, and friends notified. Now, if we can just keep Chris and Dad in the dark for about 6 hours. So part 1 of a duet. A cliffhanger, I'll warn it's a cliffhanger. And I will move on to my favorite scene that I've ever written. So this is Chronicles of a Hot Mess. It is third person, as you'll hear in a minute, POV, and the spinoff series is first person, just if that's your thing, so you know. She set the bag down and opened it to find a small box. She set the box down and opened the lid, as one might do if they thought the box contained snakes. She spied 2 jade-colored balls immediately and then stared at Nate. At first she thought they were those Chinese balls that you play with in your hand to relax or build hand strength, and she laughed at the notion. But on further examination, she wasn't so sure. Thanks, she murmured as she touched one of the balls. It was not hard like stone. It was clearly made of the same material as her... Wait, what? Her eyes popped up to meet Nate, who was trying hard to suppress a full belly laugh. Give up, he asked. She nodded her defeat. Kegel balls, he announced with nod. What balls? She asked as she examined them again and found they were 2 different sizes and each attached to a band of some type. Kegel balls, you know, he urged. Nope, no clue, she said. Kegel. Her mind tried to wrap around the word that was mildly familiar, but she didn't know why. Therefore, you know, he stated. Nope, you lost me, she said. I thought maybe you should clean out the cobwebs and get her in shape in case the new boss is hot, he explained. Wait a minute, I'm supposed to put those in my... She whispered in shock as she realized their purpose. Yes, sweetie pie, that's what they're for, to help you work out your muscles. You know, down there. Oh, and they vibrate, he added and pointed to her crotch. Ew, Nate, she said, slapping him on the arm and then looking around quickly to make sure no one had seen the offending Kegel balls. Her face grew pink with embarrassment, and then as if things couldn't possibly get more insane in her life, her eyes locked on a very familiar set of eyes 3 tables away. It took her about 2 seconds to place the eyes, and then total mortification set in as a man stood, reached for something in a bag on the floor by his chair, and walked to her table. Hey there, Lila, he said as he took the book Lila had left on the plane down on her table. Hi, she said, gaping at the book and trying desperately to remember the hot man's name. My book, she trailed off as she looked up at him. You left it behind this morning, he explained. I wasn't sure how to return it to you, but I had slipped it in my bag and, well, small world, I guess, he added with a shrug. It was in this moment, as his eyes fell on the box in front of her, that she realized the box lid was still open and the offending Kegel balls were on display. His eyes widened a fraction. Lila was pretty sure the earth might open up in this moment and swallow her. That would be the kind thing. Instead, she tried to shut the box lid, only she knocked the box over and the Kegel balls went rolling off the table in each direction. It all seemed to happen in slow motion. She watched in absolute horror as one ball rolled across the floor toward the table with her hot airplane neighbor, where her hot airplane neighbor had just come from, and the other rolled against the purse of an elderly woman who was sitting 2 tables over with what Lila assumed was her husband. Oh my God, she whispered, her throat constricting with utter humiliation. She glared over at Nate, who looked ready to bust a nut from containing his laughter. Oh, let me get that for you, he said, and he started to lean down as Lila quickly jumped off her chair. They both reached for the ball that had rolled up toward his table. His size allowed him to take only a few steps to get it, while she was forced to scramble toward it. She reached it first, grabbed it, and then started to come up from under the table. She rammed right into his head. F, he cursed as Lila's forehead made direct contact with his nose. Blood began to pour out of his nose and all over his shirt. Oh my, Lila didn't finish her sentence, but instead grabbed a cloth napkin and held it to his nose. It was only then that she noticed the other gentleman at the table. He looked mildly familiar, like she had seen him before, but she just couldn't place him. She felt a tap on her shoulder and turned to see the little old lady holding her other Kegel ball by the small rubbery strap attached to it. I think you dropped this, my dear, she said in a voice that indicated that she clearly had smoked a pack a day since Prohibition ended. Lila's face went from pink to molten red. She literally was waiting to wake up from the nightmare. Yes, this had to be a nightmare. That was it, she thought to herself. She would pinch herself and wake up. Thanks, she said, and pinched her arm, but she didn't wake up. She opened her hand to take the Kegel ball and forgot she already had the other one in her hand, as her other hand was holding a napkin to Mr. Howdy's nose. The first Kegel ball fell back on the floor. His foot immediately moved and stopped it from rolling. Oh dear, here, let me, said the old woman as she bent down to pick it up. Oh no, really, that's not, Lila started, but it was too late. The old lady picked it up as he lifted his foot, and she placed it in her hand next to the other one. Thank you, she breathed as she tried to clench her hand over the balls. Sure, sweetie, no problem, said the woman. She was about to turn her mortification back to Mr. Howdy, since clearly the old woman was clueless and now just had to face the embarrassment of the 2 gentlemen in front of her. When the woman turned around once more, oh, and enjoy those, dear. Your Kegels will be whipped into shape in no time at all. Trust me, they really do wonders. She smiled sweetly and patted Lila on the arm and walked back to her table, where she leaned over and loudly explained to her husband. Now at least 3 other tables of people were staring at Lila and gaping. Some tried to stifle laughter. Lila wanted to die. Please, God, if you're a merciful God, then kill me now, please, she thought to herself as she turned her head back to Mr. Howdy, whose hand had come up to cover her hand that was over his nose. He now had a look of total amusement on his face, despite the fact that he was probably in pain. She slowly removed her hand from his nose, allowing him to control the pressure from the napkin. Her eyes skidded back down to her other hand, and she shook her head. I'm going to kill Nate, she muttered. Is Nate your boyfriend, he asked? Or is he your personal shopper because I'm looking for a good one and I like his style, the other guy said. Chronicles of a Hot Mess.
Very fun.
It is a fun book. There's a lot of scenes that are gonna.
Where's Dylan?
Oh, I'm here. Do you not see me?
No, everybody's thinking.
Okay, hold on. Are you back, Dawn?
It says everybody can see and hear me. Can you see and hear me? Raise your hand.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys can see and hear me. I can't see myself, so that's cool.
Oh no.
Oh,
But
interesting.
Dylan doesn't seem to be here, so we'll roll with it. And I can't hear you guys.
I'm going to kick her out because
Dylan, I can't hear you.
Okay, there we go. We'll have Dawn come back in a minute. I'm telling you.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
We told you before we went live that things happen, and it's sometimes not pretty. So, all right, I'll put her back in. Can you hear us now? Okay, Dawn will be back with us shortly. So, is that a true story? You said it was based on your friend.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes in that book that are inspired by either conversations we had or things that happened. So we had, I think it was a conversation we had about Kegel balls that inspired that scene.
So you didn't have a friend that actually did that to you?
No, he threatened to do that to me, and that's where the concept came up of like, what if someone actually presented those to you? And it's much funnier if it happens in a public setting. So
of course.
Yeah.
No, there were quite a few comments that people were laughing out loud with that. So that was super enjoyable. So two completely different styles. I mean, the first book, definitely more romantic suspense and but still humor. It sounds like you still have a touch of humor.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think any of my books are without a little humor.
Okay. All right. Loved it. We do have a couple questions. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get those in before we go on to hear from M. Let me find the first one. Sarah, and I'm going to pop it on the screen. I just realized, like, oh my gosh, we could be doing this.
Oh,
so
plotter or pantser?
Sarah wants to know plotter or pantser, so that would be for both of you. And Sarah also is an author, so I know she has a lot of really good questions when it comes to writing. So what do you say? Which side of the fence are you on?
I'm a pantser.
I used to be a pantser, but now I'm kind of both. Ever since I bought Plotter, and I know Dylan's sick of hearing that, but it changed my life. It was a game changer.
I hear that's a game changer. Yes. I'm trying to get better about at least outlining things.
Yeah, it's, I used to just do the W plot, which is just a way to plot stories out, and it's so much easier in Plotter. In fact, I'm plotting my new series with it, and it's just so much easier. Because I was really bad with doing my story Bibles. I could never remember, things like what color their eyes were. And then I'm like, God, where did I put that? Now it's there. I have it.
So have you ever had characters who changed eye color from book to book or even within the same book? Because I've caught myself doing that many times.
That's what I like about Plotter, because they have a thing on it with characters, and you can put whatever you want in there. You can have their... whatever, like with paranormal, their powers and that, or what they are, and it's so much easier. It's just so much. Okay, where's my book?
You'll have to give me a demo sometime. I don't think that for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Plotter is actually a software program that you can use to plot your books, and it has a place for you to store your characters and locations. I've watched a couple different webinars, but I'm 100% sure that I'm not using Plotter to even, probably like 10% of its capabilities. So you have to give me a demo sometime.
Okay. I will.
All right. Next question is Sarah again. I'm just going in order. What's your daily writing routine?
I write after work whenever I can.
Do you have a certain number of words that you aim for each day, or is it more about time? Like you have a certain amount of time that you try to write each day? Or?
Yeah, I try to do a minimum of 1,000 words a day.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Em?
Well, I'm retired now. I used to work in the schools, and so I write about 2,500 words a day. But then, I'm at home, so it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a certain routine? Do you write better in the morning or at night, or does it matter?
For me, I start writing in the morning, and then I take a lot of breaks, which I think kind of breaks it up in that. And then I usually stop about 7 or 8, then I'm kind of done. Like this last book that I finished, I had to take a 2-day break on it. It just kind of broke my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
So I binge watch WandaVision. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
My kids are watching it.
Yes.
I've heard people talking about it though. It's supposed to be funny. Is it good?
Yes. Well, I'm a big Marvel nut, so yes, I love it. So anything with Marvel, I like.
Yep. So that's super interesting to me to hear you say that it broke your brain, and so you took a break and then watched TV, which I felt that too, where, it's like you kind of drain that creative well. And then I find sometimes that if I'm not giving myself enough time to recharge by doing something completely different, reading a book that's totally unrelated to any genre that I write in, or watching a movie, or, pulling out my adult coloring book or something like that. If I find that if I don't give myself time to do that, that it's hard to pull all that creativity out of your brain. Then that's when I feel like that's another question coming up about, what do you do when you get stuck? But do you guys experience that too? Or maybe you don't go so long. I tend to like go. And then it's like, I got nothing left. And then you have to like take a break. And
it definitely comes in spurts and bits for me. Like I might write, 4,000 words in a day. And then the next day I'm just tapped, like I have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I usually feel like that after I write a book, no matter the length of it. I just need that time, whether it's reading a book or watching movies or going for a walk. After this book, I made dinner for my dad, so I just needed to do, and then I was fine. But I also found that I just needed to sleep a night a lot. I don't know if you guys got that, but I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I just needed to sleep.
Well, and I think too with COVID, it's been interesting because, we'll get questions every once in a while. Has COVID changed your routine or the way that you do things? And I've been thinking about it, and I think it hasn't really changed my routine, but I feel like I don't get as much of that in between downtime, just quiet time, because there's 3 kids and 2 dogs and 2 cats and my husband. I mean, all of us have been in this house together since last.
I miss my commute, which is the oddest thing to say, because just zoning out in my car, I would think of so many story ideas.